Hello everybody, this is Astocky here and welcome to another episode of me playing the Kerbal Space Program. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, you will see that it has now updated to version 0.19.0.49. The previous version, which was 0.18.4, clearly has been updated now. It's added a lot of new things. It's also made some of the mods I had obsolete and some of them not work. Basically anything that used a plugin basically needs to be retested and updated for the new version. So I've decided to take advantage of this to significantly cut back the mods that I had. I've now cut it back to the Kethane mod, the Payload Pack, a program called Payloader, which allows you to, outside of the game, combine multiple craft together to just make it easier than trying to put them together in the VAB. The LSI Cargo Bay, which should still work, I believe. The Home Pack, which is about building space stations and different modules. I've kept the Ferram Aerospace Research, and I've kept MechJeb. MechJeb and Ferram Aerospace Research both require plugins, but they have both been updated. So, new save, new start to everything. There are no save games. This is going to be all completely new. And I'm just going to muck around for a little bit tonight because I don't think it's a good time to start on a campaign. Ooh, new command pod. I'm going to do some really simple stuff just to show you an initial, well, some of the stuff that's in here. So we now have rover wheels. Different size wheels for different size rovers. Now you can see they have a resource consumption rate and they use electric charge, which means they produce thrust because they've got built-in electric motors. So that's an awesome way of allowing yourself to drive vehicles. But what I really want to show, to start with anyway, is the new re-entry effect. So I don't need any of that stuff. It's also going to be a lot simpler now with a whole lot less mods installed. To really find the things that I want. So let's go for absolute overkill, and this is actually going to be pretty similar to what they did with the Mercury rocket. It's basically just going to be a big, they used a large liquid fueled booster, but this solid is going to be perfect for my needs. Let's go for some canards. Let's go for 3 of them so we've got some stability. Now something that I didn't notice last time is now you can actually set up the control surfaces, so you can set them up to work for pitch, roll, yaw, as flaps or as air brakes. You can set the maximum amount the surface can deflect. It does some calculations, and then it does some calculations on like if we click sweep Mac. Okay, that didn't work. No, what it should be doing is it should be showing across all the different Mach numbers your coefficients of lift, coefficients of drag, and those kinds of things, but for some reason that's not working right now. Could be that I haven't run the simulation, but I'm not worried about any of that. For now, let's just launch this thing up because I want to show you guys the cool re-entry effect. Now I believe this re-entry effect, you'll see that there's a new launch pad as well. No big red monstrosity beside you anymore to crash into. But still, let's throttle up. Engage this thing. Now, because we are accelerating strapped to a giant rocket booster, we're going to accelerate very quickly, and we should start to see some re-entry heating effects. There we're starting to see some Mach effects. There's some condensation. Should not have done that. Now I'm starting to get some re-entry heating effects, which is not cool. I would be pretty much killing myself now. Yeah, this is probably why they didn't use a solid rocket booster. Solid fuel, we've still got plenty of the solid fuel left too. Let's work out how high we're going to go. Wow, okay. That's pretty high. Let's ditch that thing off, it's no good to us anymore. Here we go. Tossing end over end. Let's just level that off. Look at that, Jebediah in awe of his surroundings. They've updated the way that people look and the way that people react to different things as well. So now that he's spinning, his mouth kind of closes and he's like, ooh. And then he gets used to it again and he's like, yeah, I like that. Oh. So let's warp up. We're going up really high. Look at that, up to 100 times speed. Wow, up to 600 kilometers. Now what we want to do is, we're clearly going to hit the atmosphere fast. So we want to point ourselves, whoa. We want to point ourselves in the retrograde direction. That's at 1 times too. Wow, this thing is like crazy nimble. There we go. So now we are going to use our big blunt heat shield at the bottom here, and we are going to hit this atmosphere at speed, and then we're going to watch how it slows us down, and we're going to watch how we would burn up. Now I was having a bit of a look, and it looks as though the Mercury capsule, which is one of the first capsules to start its descent, in American testing, peaked at 11.6 Gs during its re-entry. So clearly 11.6 Gs is something that could be sustained. Probably only short term, I would guess. But that doesn't mean, my little green skin Jebediah here is just awesome. So he's going to be able to take a lot more than that. So we're still way above the atmosphere. I do not know why my SAS is making me want to pivot. There's some kind of imbalance on this rocket. Still 10 Ks above the atmosphere. We're coming in really hot now. 2,000 meters per second. The music's just turned itself off. 50. The atmosphere's starting to thicken up now. We should any second now start hitting these re-entry effects. There we go, look at that. That is very, very hot. We've slowed back down now. Now we're hitting some Mach effects. Now we're starting to slow ourselves right down and balance ourselves right out. So we'll deploy the drogue. Come on, deploy the drogue. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Don't get me risky. Now about 500 meters above the ground is when this parachute will deploy. And I don't believe this ground is at sea level. No, you can see there. So if I had not have done that slowdown, I probably would have torn it off, because they have a bad habit of tearing off when they're not supposed to. Coming in, yeah, you get the idea. Let's end that flight. Now the next thing I want to do is mess with something cool. And to that extent, I'm going to go for another Mark 1 command capsule. But this time I'm going to try a rocket that is a little bit different. Where are our fuel tanks? There we go. No, we do want a decoupler. Decoupler. We are always going to have a chute on top, because there is every chance, actually there's probably, what's more than every chance, there is an exceptionally good chance I'm going to do something to botch this up and we're going to die. So let's plan for that. Okay, so now we want to get ourselves this really produces very, very, very little thrust. 220 from the Poodle. How does the Poodle produce more power? That's doesn't make any sense. I thought the Poodle was a little tiny engine. Okay. That would explain it. The Poodle is a giant engine. That's our vector thrust engine, isn't it? So that will do. Yep. Now we want to give ourselves some... Where are you, my friends? How can I not find these things? Structure. There we go. Radar decouplers we want 4 of. So for those of you who don't know, there are a lot of really good shortcut keys that you can get. You get them from the wiki, but for example, if I press X, that there changes. If I press Shift X, it changes back. If I press C, that changes, etc, etc, etc. There's lots of different things you can do, but what I want to do for now anyway is no, these little light things, 4 of. We give ourselves some jet engines, 4 of. Now we're going to be creative here, or at least hopefully creative. How can I rotate? No. There we go. Put some ram scoops on there. Feeling good about this now. Structure. Let's just anchor this all together with the help of some rather large structural looking pin things. Now, I mean, they clearly have a marking there for them, so let's put some canards on. This is going to be just beautiful. Now the last thing I'm going to want to do is utility. I'm going to want to mount some chutes on these things. That's going to do. Yep, 1 on each one. Okay, so now you can see here those chutes are going to deploy instantaneously. That is bad. We want to take those chutes and we want to make the chutes deploy. So these bolts will fire them apart and then the chutes will deploy. So these will land safely. And we don't want the separator and the parachute to fire at the same time. We want those to be separate activities. Now what we also want to do is we want to add some action groups. So I'm going to add an action group 1, which is if I click on the engines, I'm going to say toggle turbofan engines. So by pressing 1, that turns them on. I press 1 again, it turns them off. Now number 2 is going to be the intakes. Toggle intakes. So I can close the intakes to reduce drag. I'm probably not going to need to do that in this case, but I can if I need to. And then here we're going to have, whoops, custom 3 is going to be toggle that engine on and off, just in case I have any sort of need to do that. Now you might wonder what I'm doing that for, and the reason is these turbo engines take quite a while to spool up. So you really have to start them before the rest of your rocket starts off. So if I click on launch now, I'm going to throttle up. I'm going to press 1, then you'll hear my jet engine start to throttle up, and then once they sound like they've reached full power to me, I'm then going to turn on my other engine and we'll start accelerating. Then I'm going to deactivate this engine and hopefully just fly on jet engines. That's the plan. So you can see I've got intake air of 0.8. If I press 2 and close the vent, you can see that it kind of does something or other. So there you go. If I press 2, there you go. It's now at an open status. But anyway, 1, you hear them powering up. Full power obtained. Push spacebar. I just realised I'm now not flying on my other engine anyway. So what I want to do here is tip over towards 90 degrees. Nope. Nope. Clearly not cool. Stop it. Bad little ship. Bad. Bad. Stop. No. The world is about to end for this poor little Jebediah. Well, let's see. Eek. Okay, nothing to see here, people. Okay, let's try again. Throttle up. Let's press T to turn on our stabilizer. Powering up. Sounds like enough. Now we want to start to slowly pitch over. And the reason for that is... No, no. Okay. This is clearly not working the way that I thought it would. I don't think I have enough stability because the rocket's so short. In fact, what's the center of mass? Yeah, I've got some weird funky aerodynamic lift center thing going on there, but everything can be fixed with one mechanical jeb. It's going to take some programming to teach mechanical jeb what I want to do, but basically I want to fly low through the atmosphere, which would normally not be what you would do for a rocket. The reason though that I'm doing it here is because I want to keep my jet engines in the area of the atmosphere where they have fuel for as long as I possibly can. So you can see here we're climbing to 10 and then kicking over. What instead I want to do is climb to 1 and then start to kick over. And I want to do quite a flat ascent so that we're going to be shooting through the atmosphere, constantly building up speed. And I don't want to auto stage, I do want to auto throttle. I'll engage that, we'll power up. Fingers crossed now, mechanical jeb will do what it's supposed to do for me. And go. So hopefully we'll get up to 1 kilometer pretty quick. And then we will kick over. There we are, and my good friend Jeb seems to be having the same problem. Wonder if this will help. Ah, look at that, indeed it did. Okay, so let's end this flight and restart it. Let's see if we have a little bit more luck if we do it that way. So, engage the autopilot. Ready to go, Jebediah? Awesome, he's ready. We're up, and we've got our rocket engine on. We are accelerating really fast now, but that should hopefully yeah. Okay, back to the drawing board. Now clearly my plan for this is not working the way that it was supposed to, so what we're going to do... Nope. Took the wrong part off. There, we're going to move that up. Going to throw a second one of those on. And we're going to throw on some more fins. Stability plus, that's what we're going for here. We still should have way more thrust than we need. Although I probably should have checked the thruster weight of this thing before I started to take off. Vessel information. Total thrust is 0. It's because it doesn't measure jet engines properly, so I guess we'll find out very soon. Currently engaged. There we are, we are still thrusting, so I mean, you get plenty of thrust from 4 jet engines. If you were to go for 8 or 16 of them, you could do something even better, but that's wobbling around so much already. Why are you so unstable? Come on, Jeb, save the day. That clearly wasn't going to work. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do this differently. So, back to restarting the flight. Wow, I didn't think this would be so hard. I thought this was going to be really simple. Okay, so, throttle up. Jet engines on. Firing. Now before we get to the 1 kilometer mark, I'm going to engage the rocket engine and turn off the jet engines. That should give me enough to tip me over. Tip me over quite stably. No, why are we not stable? Okay. It's probably got something to do with the fact that we're climbing quite quickly. So we're going to edit our path now to make this into a more gradual turn. About 60 is what I normally go for, so we'll try that 60 where it's a really gradual turn. See if that graduality helps. Graduality is a word, right? It's got to be. See, that is what happens if you don't power up the jet engines before you start. Now that I have demonstrated the incorrectness of that activity, I can show you how to do it correctly. Jet engines on, now we take off. It's a beautiful thing when it works. So at 1 now we should start to slowly tip over. So I would like to see really slowly. We're so unstable already. Why is no one arresting this turn? Stop! I choose to quit now. Back to the Space Center. Let's load a craft. SR-71B. How can I go wrong with that? Yep, perfectly. Look at that. Beautiful plane. Awesome looking. Let's redeem myself now by not dying. That didn't sound good. That did not sound good at all. Well, let's not throttle the Mach straight away. Let's gradually build the throttle up. There we go. A little bit of yaw, hopefully, with the joystick. Nice. Oops, self-pitching up. That's okay. Definitely wants to keep climbing until I push the nose right over. It really wants to keep climbing. So I think the real one of these got to Mach 3.3, something in the vicinity of that. So let's watch my Mach number and see how high I can get it. Let's look at my resources. Intake error of 0.4. It's not really very high, so hopefully have the ability to improve upon that. We're still accelerating now and still climbing, which is good. What do I want to climb to? About 80,000 feet, so that'd be 20 something thousand kilometers. So maybe I'm not going to get that high. Maybe I'll end up losing lift before then. I can already feel the nose pitching over a little bit. A lot of a lot. If you're watching my trim number, that's me pulling back on the stick just to keep it level. We're accelerating nicer though, you know, we've broken the sound barrier. I have no idea what that particle effect was about. I'm now at full pitch backwards, and now we're descending. It's not that cool. Minor stalling detected, hey? Let's get out of that minor stalling detected and get back to normal flight. See if we can build some speed up. And pitch the nose back up a little. Come, can we? I do not feel as though this is very SR-71 like. Maybe if I fly around at really low altitude, I can get some good speed up, maybe. We seem to be hitting drag effect limits now. Okay. Space plane hangar. Okay. Now. You. Nope. You. Nope. We're going to give ourselves a little friend. Now that's probably going to throw off the center of mass and center of lift by a long way. But we'll see how it goes. In fact, I'm confident, I'm so confident that's going to throw off everything. I want one wheel that's not straight. Okay, I'm now so confident I want a pair of wheels to rest my butt on. Now, I'm going to add a second action group for that, and I want to have a button. So let's go custom group 1. We want activate engine. It's a solid rocket booster, so there's no need for a button 2 to deactivate it. I have this crazy feeling though this thing is going to pitch up crazy. But anyway, we'll throttle up and see what happens. Because there's so much weight now at the back, I just feel like it's going to end up dying on me. The nose isn't lifting up by itself now, so... no. Engage the rocket! Oh no. I'm sorry, Jebediah. Yeah. That did not work that well for Jebediah then. Okay. We can do this. We can totally do this. We haven't quite hit the half-hour mark yet. We're a team. We can totally do this. Okay, Jebediah, be prepared to take off. Hopefully before we exit the end of the runway. Really, whatever point you would like to, I'm happy to lift off. Okay, there we go. No, that's good. No, that's not as good. Yeah. You know, I jokingly said I thought this would happen. But it turns out it really did happen. And it happened like crazy. So, the solution I have for this is not a very graceful one. Now, what does a solid rocket booster weigh? Total mass 3.74. I need something of approximately equal mass. 0.9, 0.9. Yeah, I need something of approximately equal mass that's reasonably aerodynamic to just sit at the front. There we go. Let's actually put on the only a couple of places it can join to and see how we go with it. There we go. Perfectly centered. Aerodynamic. That's too big. That's too small. That's just right. There we go. One nose cone bubble thing to help balance the weight out. Now I've probably got myself into the situation where I've done worse. The game has a perfectly good tool for measuring your center of lift and your center of mass. And I should have looked at it. There's going to be some crazy overcompensation here, I think. Okay, gear up. I feel like we're not doing too badly here. Yep, the gear has gone up. The rocket is accelerating as we would expect. Now let's try and see what kind of altitude we can get ourselves to and what kind of speed we can get up to. Yeah, look at this. It's like a fuel carrying rocket pod proby thingy on the nose. And we still have huge amounts of intake air. Like the intake air hasn't dropped off at all. So there's something, maybe some kind of drag effect that's causing me to slow down, or gravity, or okay, I'm starting to get on the stall point, so let's kick this rocket into gear. Oh yeah, now we're cruising. We're doing Mach 1.5. Passing Mach 2. Oh, we're hitting re-entry effect, so we're definitely too low for that. I forgot to put a way to detach it. We're really nose heavy now, that's not cool. Okay. My ability to intake air for my engines is starting to drop off. I'm really accelerating nicely though now. So my intake air is down to 0.15, 0.14. I think I'm pretty close to getting an asymmetric flame out. Mach 2.6, 2.7. No wait, the intake air number's going back up. We're kind of holding steady now. We're hitting re-entry effects again, so we've got to go a little bit higher. We've pretty much lost lift. 3.1, 3.2, I'm full stop back trying to climb and it just won't do it. 3.3, I think we've hit the number, we've hit the magic number. Now, can we turn this thing around and can we, no, clearly we can't. Yep. Both engines have now flamed out, so let's cut the engines. See if we can't get ourselves down to an altitude that's a bit lower. Large scale stall detected. Trying to regain some stability here, and it's just not working. Getting back into the thicker part of the air though, so I should have really good speed. Throttle the engines up, give myself a bit of a push in the right direction. There we go. I think we're looking like we might have some control again. Come on. Clearly this plane does not want to recover. I'm sorry, Jebediah, you might look happy, but you're about to cut the engines because they're clearly not helping. I think I just recovered. Yay for me, I just recovered in time to plough into the ocean. Well, on that note anyway, this is version 0.19. It's got some cool changes. In fact, it's got some really cool changes, some things that I really like the look of. So hopefully, what other mods was I looking at getting? I think, you know what, there's probably not really anything else that I was really looking at needing before I started my campaign. So I might even maybe be able to, before I go away on Tuesday, I might even be able to record a short episode tomorrow night. Just a little something about, I guess, the state of the Astocky Kerbal Space Program. I might even be able to launch my first vehicle and complete my first campaign mission. In fact, let me just pause the video and I'll be back in a second once I know what the first mission is, and I'll see if I might even be able to do it now. Back in a second. Okay guys, so let's just say I was going for the first mission of the campaign. I'm not, but let's just say I was. Now I would have a budget of 25,000, but that's really not that important. What is important is the completion of the first mission. So the first mission is I have to get into orbit. The second mission is that I have to successfully return from orbit, and the third mission is I have to have a circular orbit of 100 plus or minus 2 kilometers. So the way I look at that is that's 3 challenges that I can complete in one mission, and my rocket just has to cost less than 10,000. And then even if it's not reusable, I've still broken even. Clearly I would like to have as much of it as possible be reusable, so I'm thinking that I might go for just a pretty simple design. So you're an expensive decoupler. That is a cheap decoupler. It has no cost. That must be a bit of a bug. I'm sure it's not meant to have no cost. Maybe it just has no cost because it doesn't work. Yeah, let's get rid of that and let's go for the tried and true decouplers that we know so well. That is just too big. That is just too big. Really only leaves me this one. The other ones are just all too small. Like that's probe size, that's too small. So there we go. We're left with no choice. Back to propulsion. Let's get ourselves a fairly efficient engine. Now here let's go for something a little bit larger. Without a stack separator we are not going to be doing very well. So what have I spent so far? 2 stack separators. Should be adding this up. We've got a command pod, 600. 2 stack separators, 1200. Got a basic fuel tank, 850. A little engine, 750. Wow, this is adding up pretty quick. A big engine, 1600. Sorry, a big fuel tank, 1600. I'll add a second big fuel tank. Now we want to add ourselves an engine to drive all this. There we go. Now we want to add some fins for stability. There we go, perfectly fins for stability. Now we also want to I want to try and save as much of this as I can, so I'm going to put 2 chutes there. I'm going to put 2 chutes there, and I'm going to put 4 chutes there. It's a very shooty looking aircraft. And Those chutes are quite expensive, but if they mean that I can save some very expensive engines, I think it'll be worth it. Now the very last thing, and this is not a cheat, but it's kind of not far off being a cheat. We'll go to control, we'll grab our MechJeb, and we'll throw MechJeb on there. Now when we put vessel info on, thruster weight 1.28, so we now know we're going to take off, so goodbye MechJeb, not needed. I should have used MechJeb to check my delta V as well, but I did not. I think that's exactly how I want to do it as well. So let's throttle up and climb. It's going to start off as a very, very slow climb, but that's okay. We want the climb to be pretty slow initially until we get through the thick part of the atmosphere. Ah man, we've got some more instabilities here. Some crazy rotations and stuff happening. Yeah, I've done a crazy number here with my I've done a crazy number here with my rotation. I don't know why this thing is so unstable. This could be a little bit of a bug with the Ferram aerospace mod and the way it does its calculations now for the atmosphere. I don't want to have to turn it off, but I might. What I'll do is I'll see if the ascent is controllable with a mechanical jeb on board. I should have enough delta V as well, so that should be good. I have to reshape this ascent. Edit path. We want to start the turn at 10 up to 70. Turn shape is 60, I think is what I normally go for. Orbit of 100. Now all we need to do is just have enough fuel. Keen to make sure my rocket doesn't just snap itself apart too when I launch it. See, we've got a little bit of a twitchy thing happening. I might have to have some kind of advanced SAS on there or something like that to help control it a bit better when I don't put mechanical jeb on. But I mean, we're accelerating quite nicely now. Burned through a lot more of our liquid fuel than I thought we would have though in the first 3 kilometers, but now we're picking up speed. Could be that one of these engines just wasn't enough. Yeah, we're starting to stall the control surfaces a bit, which isn't good. They're bouncing all over the place. But I think our acceleration is starting to get a little bit more manageable now. Let's just see if when we pitch over if we die. No, I'd say we... Oh wow, that's... I'm glad mechanical jeb is flying this and not me. Seems to be doing pretty well. Got lots of fuel left. How far have we got ourselves up now? 34, 35. It's not doing too badly. I doubt we're going to have enough fuel in the next stage though to do a whole lot, so... Yeah, we really need to get that up a lot higher before we run out of fuel. really interested to check on that later and make sure those chutes deployed correctly. They've gone blue, so it looks as though they have. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. I'm kind of shooting through the atmosphere at the moment. What do we want? We want... oh no, ascent stats, that's it. Getting a few drag losses that I'm not really happy with. Well, that's just not going up. Now thinking too little thrust. We're totally out of the atmosphere though now, so we are in space. At the very least, I might be able to get myself to that 100-kilometer orbit. Okay, so there we are, we've got ourselves up to our 100-kilometer apoapsis and we've used up most of our fuel. While we still have just a touch of fuel left too, I might have to turn mechanical jeb off if we're not circularizing nicely. Let's look at our orbital information. How are we doing? Oh, the periapsis is 23 already, so we might... I think we're looking like getting there just because that burn took so long and was so inefficient. Bill is looking way less comfortable than Jebediah manages to look all the time. Wow, look at that. Go MechJeb. We have now successfully completed step 1 and step 3. Step 1, of course, being get into orbit and get into an orbit. And all that means is your periapsis has to be above 70, because that's above the atmosphere and you're good to go. So we've done both of those. Now it says debris at launch pad. Where's the rest of my debris? I'm hoping that means I should have attached a probe to it or something so that I could actually watch it come down. But what I want to do now is around about here, I guess, add a maneuver, and we want to burn retrograde. Okay, that was not what I wanted to do. Let's try this again. I'm going to burn retrograde. So we want a 30-kilometer periapsis. Oh, what did I just do? Banned. Okay, try again. Okay, we want to about here. Add a maneuver. We want to burn ourselves down. So now we're going to come up way short. Okay, so let's just get this thingy. Move it back a little bit. Okay, that's going to do. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to absolutely go with that. So now, ascent autopilot can be off. Orbital information off. Smartass on. We want to now be retrograde. So it's going to spin me around and it's going to lock me on that retrograde point. And then I just have to burn. Let's accelerate time a little bit. It's a 3-second burn, so it should hardly take anything at all. Okay. Mechanical jeb only seems to work oops, I think I missed it. Well, let's burn towards the node. Okay. Something has happened now and I haven't got my throttle line there. Go away. Come back. Don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I don't like it. We can now turn off smartass. Actually, no, let's keep you retrograde. Coming down. Should be hitting atmospheric interface fairly soon, I would think. No way to tell from that view. Got heaps of fuel left too, which is great. Coming in. Looking good. So now we've lost a bit of stuff up here, but we've kept some stuff here. No, let's not do that just yet. Coming in pretty flat actually, so I'm hoping we'll be able to shed all the speed we need to. Bill is looking like he is filling his special astronaut pants with poop. We're still accelerating. Some point soon we should start to decelerate because the atmosphere is thickening up. We are going blunt end first. Okay. By now we shouldn't be accelerating. But it looks like we've almost started to slow back down. Okay, there we are, now we're slowing down. Somehow I don't feel like that's going to be enough though. Whatever, let's just see how this plays out. Still bleeding off speed. So what does it say my periapsis is going to be now? Okay. Well, there we go. My periapsis is now driven into the ocean. It's on the night side. I was hoping... Okay, that's about the point there where I want it to stop. Yeah, okay. We're going to come up way short. But it is working. We are decelerating. We are coming down. We're going Mach 6 backwards. The atmosphere is starting to thicken up now. So, because I already know we're going to miss by miles, I'm going to start burning this down. See if I can kill a lot of our velocity. Okay, yeah, dropped ourselves right down. Still would like to bleed off a little bit more speed first. Ideally down to less than Mach 2. Hopefully we will keep decelerating. So I got to get us down to less than 600. That's my aim for the chutes. And that's my aim because I read somewhere that someone read somewhere that that's when the real astronauts open their chutes up. Okay, so we've now lost our ability to hold the pointing in the other direction. So now down to 600, so I should be able to decouple now. Now let's try and see if we can hold this thing retrograde. Yeah, we seem to be able to, so I can only assume that those chutes deployed correctly. So now we're coming down quite nicely actually. This has been a surprisingly good re-entry. It was very shallow, but I think that's worked to my own advantage because it's meant that I didn't have any re-entry heating effects. And wow, this has been much longer than I thought it was. This looks like it's been nearly an hour episode, so well, enjoy everyone. Let's just speed this up a little. Okay, that's not cool. Let's not speed that up so much. Coming down. It's still slowing me down, which is good. Why is that holding in that position? Ha! There you go, mechanical jeb wasn't actually working correctly. It was trying to work, but it had not enough electric charge. So that's okay, it was Bill that was flying it in. Good old Bill. I mean, look at him, he's clearly no Jebediah. Get the feeling he's going to be one happy camper though once this thing splashes down, and in fact I'm going to watch it splash down just so I can see his face. And we splash down. We're bobbing, we're bobbing, we're bobbing. Come on, we're safe, Bill. Crack a smile. And no, Bill's not going to smile at all. Well, anyhow, let's go to end flight and see how we did. Yeah, stage 4 confirmed, stage 2 confirmed. Nothing took any damage, which means looks like both of the other stations, both of the lots of debris successfully touched down. So, I think that was the first 3 campaign missions effectively completed. Now, I'm not going to take credit for that because I said at the beginning I wasn't going to, but hopefully that will give you an idea of the kind of things you can look in for. There'll be a little bit of spreadsheeting as I frantically write down some numbers to work out, how much of my valuable craft I've managed to actually save and how much I didn't, and do some testing with different things. But anyhow, thanks very much for watching. Astocky out.